guys know about the elderly woman that was found?
Oh my God, that was horrifying. That was horrifying.
Gavin, do you know anything about it?
No.
Wadsworth Police.
Yes, this is Howard Leisure. My aunt lives on Portage Street, and a friend of ours stopped over there yesterday to check on her, and she was nowhere to be found.
A 98-year-old woman died after she was reported missing yesterday. Police said she was found in a hidden location in her house.
And I believe that he planned to kill numerous people and used my aunt as a warm-up, so to speak, for those other killings.
Why did I lie about anything? That was stupid.
This is 17-year-old Gavin Ramsay, brought in for interrogation after he was apprehended for the murder of 98-year-old Margaret Douglas. What the detectives were unaware of at the time was that they are sitting in front of a monster with morbid fantasies about killing and R-wording innocent people. Margaret Mary Frick Douglas was born on September 15, 1919 in Akron, Ohio. She was the second oldest of 4 children in her family and was described by many as a generous yet independent person. After World War II ended, Margaret married her soulmate Donald Douglas and relocated to Wadsworth, Ohio. The couple had opted to not have children of their own, so Wadsworth, being a small and safe suburban town with a close-knit community, was the perfect setting for them. The couple was constantly surrounded by loved ones ranging from family members to friendly neighbors. However, despite having this support, Margaret never depended on anyone for most tasks, neither after the passing of Donald nor into her elderly years. As a result of her perseverance, she was proud of her 98-year-old self and was eagerly looking forward to turning 100 years old. Unfortunately for Margaret, these dreams of hers would soon be crushed by a tragic and brutal murder which left this once safe town in an utmost state of shock.
Wadsworth Police.
Yes, this is Howard Leisure. My aunt lives on Portage Street,
Okay.
and a friend of ours stopped over there yesterday to check on her, and she was nowhere to be found. We didn't know if you'd found anybody wandering.
No, we don't have any reports of anybody wandering.
We can't find her in the house anywhere. He went in the house and looked.
The call about Margaret's disappearance chills me to the bone. A 98-year-old woman living alone has suddenly gone. It's every family's nightmare. The fear in Howard's voice is so raw, you can feel his desperation. This case isn't just a crime. It violates trust in a small, safe town. How could someone target someone so vulnerable? It's heartbreaking to think Margaret's independence, her pride, was turned against her.
Police said she was found in a hidden location in her house.
Wadsworth police say 98-year-old Margaret Douglas was reported missing by an out-of-town relative yesterday. Police searched her home but didn't find her and said there were no obvious signs of foul play. But then police said they went back to the house last night and found her body in a hidden location.
It's very heartbreaking. She's 98 years old. Who has any business taking her from this earth after that rich a life? It makes no sense, if that's what happened.
Upon investigation of the body, the officers took note of several findings. The innocent woman's nightgown had been fully unbuttoned, revealing her torn underwear. Her neck and face were covered with several marks indicating that she was sexually assaulted and strangled with the perpetrator's bare hands. At first, the police struggled to find a prime suspect as most leads led them to dead ends. That was until they received several complaints regarding petty crimes that were coincidentally taking place in the vicinity of Margaret's house. One in particular stood out. A man named Paul began to speak with a young man on a dating app called Grindr. Later on, the two met up in Paul's call to know each other a little better. During the meeting, the young man became suddenly enraged, pushed Paul out of the car, and drove off with his belongings. At the time, who possessed a long record of petty crimes in the local area. Consequently, he was brought into interrogation with the company of his mother and was questioned regarding the break-ins. This interrogation has been analyzed by a forensic psychiatry doctor at the University of Rosenberg in Germany. Having in mind all details regarding this crime, we are dealing with the type of person in forensic psychology known as psychopathy. Psychopathy is characterized by continuous antisocial behavior, impulsivity, selfishness, callousness, unemotional traits, and remorselessness. As can be seen in later videos, In Gavin's case, his strong psychopathy is mixed with sadism and sexual perversions, such as necrophilia.
You just want to tell us what you guys were doing and what was happening that night? You're 17, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we snuck out. Well, I snuck out. He's 18. So we were just walking around. He didn't even drive. Like, we just walked.
Oh, he walked from his house in Euclid?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez.
And then we met up at Durling, and we weren't really doing anything. Then we went over to the church and climbed on top. And then we went, like, into the courtyard, but that's all we did.
Now, you did more. Unfortunately, you guys have left behind some very telling items, okay? If we're going to get to the bottom of this, let's just make it the truth all at once. Let's deal with it and get it done.
You're 17.
Yeah. You're a kid, so you're not looking at as much trouble as. And I
Sponge in the future.
Brayden. Yes.
Our 18 is over.
Gavin, we've had some really serious things happen in your neighborhood and in that area, okay? We had a carjacking.
Oh my God.
And the suspect is a young white male with a nice complexion and blue eyes. Is that you?
No, it's not me. I wouldn't know the first thing about jacking a car.
Well, it's a little more to the story, but, you know, you didn't take anybody's car? Have you ever used an app called Grindr?
No,
How do you feel about gay people?
I'm not gay.
Oh, that's okay. But they don't bother you?
No, nobody bothers me.
Okay. I was, you know, some of the victims of these crimes are gay, and I didn't know if it was
A hate crime kind of thing.
right. They're being victimized only because of their sexual orientation. So we're here, so I'm just going to ask them.
Right.
I'm
Oh,
just going to be straightforward.
Gavin's petty crimes reveal a darkness that's hard to stomach. At 17, he's already preying on people, stealing without remorse. The forensic expert's words, psychopathy, sadism, necrophilia, make my skin crawl. How does a kid become this? It's not just rebellion, it's a complete lack of humanity. Knowing he lived near Margaret, blending into her community, feels like a betrayal. This isn't just a crime story, it's a warning about monsters hiding in plain sight.
And I'm sure you guys know about the elderly woman that was found.
Oh my God, that was horrifying. That was horrifying. It is horrifying.
Did you know her at all?
No, other than just to see her out, like on a porch, that actually makes me want to cry. Like, how do you get to be 98 years old? Nobody lives to be 98. It's so rare. And someone else thought that that was okay. Like, how did that, I don't know. Like, why does your life been like that?
Gavin, do you know anything about it?
No, that's honestly probably 5 or 6 people.
That you talked to? Is that what you're saying? Is there something else you need to tell us? What's upsetting you so much?
No.
I've been doing this for a little while, and I have a whole gaggle of children of my own, ranging from the age of 26 all the way down to 10, so I'm pretty good with this stuff.
The investigator here is stressing her maternal role, even sharing details of her own personal life. Although it is unusual for police investigators to reveal their private lives to suspects for security reasons, the investigator is playing this game to secure the trust of the suspected person and potentially open up further interrogation regarding the murder case. Let's take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, June's Journey. Imagine stepping back into the roaring 1920s where glamour meets mystery. June's Journey invites you to explore this dazzling era as you follow June Parker on her quest to solve her sister's murder and uncover buried family secrets. With each scene, you are pulled deeper into a story that will keep you on the edge of your seat. What I love about this game is the challenge of spotting hidden objects in this beautifully designed world. It's not just a game, it is an escape to a different time, and it tests your detective skills at every turn. Piecing together those puzzles is very satisfying. For those who like a personal touch, you can also customize and enhance your own virtual mansion and garden. It's a satisfying break from the intense detective work, giving you a space to express yourself creatively. June's Journey is free to download, and it's available on Android, iOS, and even on your PC through Facebook Games. Support the villains and click the link below or scan the QR code on screen to start your own journey into mystery with June's Journey.
I asked, did you get put in a bad situation? Did somebody put you in a bad situation? No.
Yeah, let's look at it this way. Honesty is always what's best.
I'm not holding anything back. Like,
You've already gotten yourself in trouble, so.
I know, and I don't even. I don't know what to say.
Is there more? Because you know it always
No,
comes out.
It's not that there's anything more. It's what the fuck, dude.
That's why I always told you kids, what happens in the dark comes out in the light. That's the way it works. You mess up, you get caught. You make bad choices, you're gonna pay for it. So if there's something else, let's get it all out on the table so that we know what we're dealing with.
At this point, Gavin's mom changed her restrained attitude, taking the side of the police, which is a very typical role for adults when it comes to the misbehavior of their children. However, what she does not know is the terrifying truth of what her child did.
It's not anything else. It's, I don't know, I'm mad at myself. I'm so mad at myself.
What are you so mad at yourself for?
I was 16, already had a fucking felony and like 5 misdemeanors, and now I'm gonna be in more trouble. I have to go back to court, and I'm done with it. I'm so done with it.
That's fair enough.
Like, honestly, I don't even want to live at home anymore. I don't know. I'm not fucking normal. I need to live somewhere else. Like, if, I don't know, some halfway house or something, I honestly would not care.
Why would you want to live in a halfway house? What is so wrong about living at home?
No, there's nothing that they do. It's me. Like, everything I'm putting them through, I'm costing them thousands of dollars. Constant heartbreak. I've honestly probably never made either of them proud. I don't do anything fucking good.
Stop cussing.
It's a word.
Well, it's disrespectful.
So you're upset with yourself?
Yeah, I hate myself. That's really it.
You know, the suspicious death of the elderly woman is right there too.
God, I know.
That's why I'm saying, you know, I can't imagine you doing something like that. I just interacting with you this little bit, I can't imagine that's in your wheelhouse.
No.
But, you know, if we would come to find out that you're not being honest about something that, you know, puts you back on the list of people to take a look at.
Right.
You know, so it's a serious situation, that's why I want to make sure.
Oh my God.
Generally, you know, detectives don't get involved in.
We knew when we saw that BCI because it was literally facing my office window and it was blinding in the house. And I was like, at first I was like, that looks like a trash truck, but that's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when that gets called in, you know. And then I get all scared. I'm like, oh my God, I have all my porch lights on now at night. I have stranger danger issues.
Do you notice anything different?
Honestly, can you two actually leave for a second?
What's that?
Can you two actually leave? So I can talk to her.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you?
Sure.
carjacking, it was me, I'm gonna be honest about it, but the way that he explained it, that guy, that's not right.
We may suspect that he requested his mom and the other police to leave the room so he could have more control over the situation. Since the investigator showed maternal care for him, he decided to play that card, which may explain why he continues to cry.
That grinder thing, yeah, I have been on it. And this guy was like the first time that this happened, and I told him like I was 17 and everything, and I wasn't planning on doing anything with him. It's not my style. I was just like, he's a 40-year-old man trying to get with a 17-year-old, so I was just gonna rob him. It's like, it's still messed up, but against what he's doing, I don't really think it is. And then the whole carjacking thing, I never even left Overlook. I literally, like, I got in, and he's like, what, should we go to the back seat? I'm like, yeah, sure. So he got out. I sit and locked the doors and hopped in the driver's seat and just drove around and messed with him, and then I left.
So then you got out and left?
Yeah, I didn't damage the car.
Well, we knew it was there, when he finally walked somewhere to get a phone, and we knew there was something more to the story that he wasn't telling us.
Yeah, I didn't damage any of the stuff. I just, like...
Do you have his wallet?
No, that's because I kept asking him, like, I cracked the window of the car, like, because he walked up, doors were locked, everything. I'm like, where's your wallet? And he's like, I don't have it. So then, I opened his glove box and all that. And I'm like, well, show me your pockets. And he's like, I don't have it, but can I have my phone? I'm like, no. And then I turned and he, like, tried to grab the window and, like, break it. And then I gassed it and he walked. And that's when he left Overlook. And then I went up to, like, where the dumpsters are, where that white van is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's where I left the car, and I just went out. And then the only reason I knew what he was saying is because I heard sirens and stuff. I'm like, that guy's not just gonna leave. Like, why would you leave your car and phone and everything? And then I downloaded the 5.0 radio, and I was listening, and he said the kid was trying to get a ride to Elm Street, and he like came up to my car asking for a ride. Looks like he was in distress or something, and that's not what happened.
Yeah. Why were you on that app?
Really, just for that reason, to find guys that are that low of people, I guess.
That want to get with kids.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's karma, really. Like, if you're gonna do that, then I'm gonna rob you.
And you told him how old?
I was 17.
You told him you were 17? What was his response to that?
He was like, okay. And he was down to meet. So that's when I decided I was just gonna take his money and leave.
Did he touch you at all? Did you touch him at all?
No.
Now, where were you at in the car?
I got into the front seat, like the front passenger, and then, like, whenever, I didn't even have the door really closed yet, like, my foot was still out, just precautions, I guess, if I needed to run. And he's like, should you go in the back seat to do this? And I'm like, yeah. And then he got out, and I pulled my door closed after he shut his, and I locked it, and then he was locked out of the car.
Is that all?
Yeah, that's all of it.
You didn't hurt that old lady, did you?
No, and that's what I was pissed by earlier.
Gavin's carjacking confession is chilling. He targeted vulnerable people on Grindr, justifying it as karma. The way he shrugs off his actions shows no empathy, no guilt. It's terrifying to think he was escalating, testing his limits before Margaret's murder. How many others could have been hurt? His blue-eyed boy-next-door facade masks a predator. This moment makes you question how well we know those around us. It's a gut punch.
But the detectives went on a hunch, and they confiscated his phone with the permission of his mother. Unfortunately for her, she had no idea of the disturbing person her son had turned into. In a secret app titled Dark, which was secured by the passcode MURDER, Gavin stored multiple videos that he captured in the early morning hours of April 6, 2018, when he carried out this heinous crime. He broke into Margaret's house through a back door and watched her as she slept on the couch. Suddenly, Margaret woke up with a worried look plastered on her face, so he lunged at her and strangled her to death. He spent the next few hours pursuing his sickening desires using Margaret's lifeless body. Gavin's face was not seen in these videos. However, there were several times his hand, covered in a glove, was seen. He would then go on to make a grave mistake of leaving behind a glove, which was found with Margaret's DNA on the outside and his on the inside. The police were now certain they knew the perpetrator who callously murdered this innocent elderly woman. They requested Gavin to return for a second round of interrogation. However, when Gavin came back into the interrogation, he began to act in a very disturbing way. Assuming that this second interrogation may turn out very bad for him, Gavin decided to apply much stronger tactics in his quote-unquote defense. This time, he maximizes the mental pain he's trying to show by lying on the floor, demonstrating someone who is in real suffering.
You sure I can't get you a drink? I know telling me about it doesn't give you much relief.
Just to the bank and ruined my life.
Gavin's defensive reaction, crying and falling to the floor upon being brought into interrogation without prior knowledge of the reasons, speaks volumes. It strongly suggested that he anticipated this and knew what was about to transpire, indicating his guilt in the heinous crime.
Did you go to school the next morning after this?
I don't think we were even back in school.
Oh, during spring break, you're right.
I think so.
And you didn't take anything from the house? Like I said before, it doesn't make a difference either way.
I mean, what other crime can I commit that would really matter at this point?
No, this family just specifically
Yeah,
asked me about the wallet, so that's the only reason I'm asking about that, okay?
So more comfortable laying down then? Do you want to take these off there for a bit? That's up to you guys.
I don't mind. I'm not worried about you.
A little bit more comfortable, you know what I'm saying? I'll get some of them off of us.
Kevin, what happened to Margaret's underwear? Alright?
There was a bit of an altercation. Like, she wasn't up whatever she was going to.
So did you kind of wrestle with her then?
A little bit. Like, it was off the couch.
On the floor? And her underwear got torn then?
Yeah, we got ripped.
Gavin claims that Margaret's underwear got torn during an altercation. However, this was a lie. It was torn by him when he sexually assaulted the helpless woman. This was proved by the state of the body when it was discovered, and the disturbing app on his phone that captured him doing so.
So when she died, was she on the couch or on the floor?
Floor.
Were you on top of her then?
Kind of.
Like one hand or both?
Both.
Did you squeeze it or push her against the floor or both?
Both.
And you said you don't remember if she was bleeding at that point.
Well, I mean, the only reason I can think of bleeding is when I put my hand over her mouth.
So you were when you were holding her hand over her mouth, you might have pushed too hard and maybe made her nose bleed.
Yeah.
Noticing that Gavin started to open up about his crime, the second investigator decided to change his body position from a chair to the floor, aligning himself with Gavin's posture. The investigator accepted the approach and allowed Gavin to continue talking. The main investigator had been using this tactic from the very beginning.
So, were you in her house for a little while before you woke her up?
I mean, I came up onto the porch, and I didn't even know what I was going to do. And I looked in the window and everything. I don't know, I felt like going into a house is like the biggest adrenaline rush I could get. So then I tried the doorknob, and that just happened to be unlocked.
Was it the front door or back door?
Or back door.
So you went into the kitchen?
Was like the TV on or something? When you went in? I don't think so. Ended up at his house, she didn't hear it or something. Maybe it's well, she was already asleep whenever I went in, because when I came around the corner, that's where I saw her, and it scared me. Because I didn't expect to see someone right there. So I didn't hear anything. So I came in, I opened the door, and I just listened. I didn't hear anything, so maybe nobody's home. And then I go to walk around that corner, and I'm still going slow, but I see her, and she's, I don't know, sleeping or something. And then I go to turn around and hit the chair, and it made a noise, and she woke up.
And she started to scream at that point, you said?
Yeah, because when I hit the chair, I turned back around, and I looked, and she was there staring at me and started to yell. And then went for the phone. She already knew what it looked like.
We were trying to get that much of the phone, that when you were trying to get the phone away from her so she couldn't call? Did you not have that out of the way, or is that what you guys fight with the phone?
It was a little bit of a fight. I think I threw it under the couch. I'm not really sure.
You guys ended up on the floor at that point?
Yeah, I don't even know where the phone went.
When you say you guys were on the floor, her gown, the floor.
Yeah, because she was still.
Well, her underwear, I guess.
I don't even know if she was wearing underwear.
Okay.
Because when she was on the couch, she grabbed the phone and everything. It was still yelling, and I don't know if she died or anything yet or not, but I just didn't know what to do, and that happened. By the time I even realized what I was doing, it was too late to stop anything.
And when you realized that's when you were on the floor on top of her with your hands on her and stuff. That's when
Gavin states that Margaret was awakened from her sleep by the commotion he caused when he hit a chair. However, this wasn't true, but Gavin was certain that the detectives would buy his lie. He is soon to find out that the detectives thought otherwise.
Hearing Gavin lie about an altercation while videos show his calculated crime is infuriating. Margaret didn't stand a chance. The glove, the app named Dark, it's like he wanted to be caught, or worse, didn't care. His tears feel performative, a ploy for sympathy. The investigator's patience is remarkable, but I can't shake the rage. How do you face someone who defiled a 98-year-old's dignity? This is evil, plain and simple.
Yeah, there's a couple of videos of you kind of peeking over the edge of the couch and videotaping her. When was that all done?
That was all the same night. Why did I lie about anything? That was stupid.
It's okay. So you went to the house earlier?
No, like I never went to the house before, but like I went in and I was being quiet and everything. And like how it happened, like I wasn't lying about that, but I did, you know, like I turned the corner and did see her.
And you hid?
Yeah, then I hid and I was taking my phone. I was taking pictures to see if she was awake.
I got you.
And then
she saw you?
we stood up and she saw me.
Did your flash go off on your phone?
I don't think so.
So from there, is that did you tell us the truth about the rest of that? So how long do you think you were in the house before you woke her up?
I don't know, probably like 10, 15 minutes.
And then from the time you woke her up to the time you ended up on top of her, choking her, how long did that whole part take?
That was probably like 5 minutes.
So pretty quick. She tries to get the phone, you try and stop her. You guys struggle to the floor and you end up on top of her with your hands on her neck. And you're pushing and squeezing. You have your hand over her mouth at the same time?
Well, my hand on her mouth was on the couch. And then, I don't know, rolled or something off the couch.
Was she like fighting back with you then, trying to struggle, and then you guys went down?
Yeah. I think on her way down is when we got ripped.
But you don't remember ripping her pants? How long did you stay there before you put her in the closet?
That was probably like 30 minutes. I just kind of sat there and I didn't know like what was going on. Like I was still in shock from it, I guess. And then I checked my phone and it said it was like 4 something. And I knew my mom had to get up at 5:40.
Immediately, he regrets deceiving the police. One would even think that he would avoid doing so in the future. However, when questioned by the detective about the duration he spent in the house, he falsely claims it was only 30 minutes. Yet, the timestamps on the videos from his phone revealed that he was inside the house for several hours, once again proving his dishonesty.
Was there any adrenaline with that? No.
It was like adrenaline and shock at the same time. So like 1 second I'm like, I don't know, adrenaline.
Like, and the next thing you know, it's like way overload.
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
So what did you do with your gloves when you left?
We moved away.
Where at?
In the trash can.
At home. Because there was a glove there. Could you have dropped one?
There was a glove there. I guess I did drop one.
There was purple stuff on it. What was the purple stuff that was on it? I get it that there's a whole piece of this that you don't understand why you do. Okay? I understand the whole sexual piece that you don't understand. And I get that. Did the purple stuff have to do with the whole sexual piece that you don't understand why you do? No. And is that the same time that you were taking some of those pictures?
Yeah, and after I took those pictures, I was like, what?
That's when the shock set in?
Yeah, it's like, what am I doing?
So it was adrenaline all the way up until then. And then the whole shock took over the overload. Is that right? Hard.
While it's true that Gavin may have faced difficult circumstances from a young age, it doesn't justify his actions. However, he seemed to believe that attributing his behavior to a quote-unquote adrenaline rush and emphasizing his mental health struggles may help him evade or mitigate the consequences.
She may have asked this, but did you mean to hurt Margaret like that? No, like, no. Or was it just the shock? The shock.
You said you just started doing it, and by the time you realized that she had died, it was too late.
Nothing I can do. That way you punched the wall at school, is that main frustration? How did that chunk out of your hand? You don't say it hurts.
It's hard. I think I broke my hand or my pinky. I didn't even care. I was just mad because I finished my test in math, and then I saw a text from that said the cops had my phone. I'm like, great. And then Miss rings. I'm like, that's for me. I guarantee it. I'm looking at her, and she looks at me, and she like go to the office. I'm like, great.
That's for the break-in type stuff. It was full of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Full of stuff.
Yeah, the church, yeah, sorry.
Did you guys go in the church? No. You
No.
just set off the alarm clock, nothing with the windows?
Yeah. Like,
Were you gonna go into the church before the alarm went off?
I don't really know what we were gonna do at the church. I didn't even hear the alarms go off. He's like, dude, the alarms are going off. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I listened. I'm like, we should probably go. And we did.
Did you feel weird going out and like getting some cars are trying to break that place, knowing what you've already been through in Margaret's house? That seems strange. Or just kind of like the thought of the past thought. Because it's over, you can't change it.
Was it less of an adrenaline rush?
Yeah. It wasn't.
Or was there that same adrenaline when you were on top of Margaret? Was there that same adrenaline?
That was,
Yeah. It was a little bit different.
well, like, that we going to break into cars.
Yeah.
I mean, cars is like that.
Quick fix.
It's just that, you know what, when you go to open the door handle, it's like, is the alarm gonna go off? Someone's gonna come outside. So it's like, there's that risk. And then, I don't think, the whole breaking into the house, that was the adrenaline part. I think, I don't know, just, I didn't even have a grip on reality whenever I did that. What do you think's even gonna happen with me?
I think you're gonna go to juvenile detention. You're gonna do some time in jail.
How long do you think?
I don't know. I just don't know, Gavin. But I do know that your mom absolutely loves you, and you are a huge part of her world. And she needs you to be here.
That's what I'm most upset about.
But I want you to remember that. I don't want you to forget that, okay? You can't.
I don't, like, it's the only thing that's kept me going. My mom.
She seems like a pretty fantastic lady.
She is.
And she loves you more than anything, so if anybody can get you through this and get you what you need.
However, what he says next suggests otherwise.
I'll be honest, this Saturday, like, just 5 days from now, I was gone. I'm leaving.
You're gonna run?
Because the only reason I didn't yesterday, because I knew my mom just took out my money for my insurance.
and I knew my insurance doubled, so I had like no money. I just needed gas money to get somewhere, and I didn't care what happened. I don't know, I think I was headed down towards like Tennessee, and keep going down through there.
You knew that this was a come out.
At some point. And I knew if I left, there'd be no coming back ever. And that's the, I don't know, I kept having that thought every time I felt like I was ready to actually leave. I'm like, well, I literally can't ever talk to my family again if I leave.
Well, Gavin, I'm glad it's going to stop here. I'm glad this didn't go any further. Because I don't know that you would have been able to change on your own.
No, I wouldn't. And I don't know, I had a pretty clear picture of what the next year looked like if I ran.
Unfortunately, I think you would have hurt more people. Was that in your plan?
I mean, that wasn't in my plan, but I could see that happening, but all I could see was me dead if I ran.
Think we're ready to move on here?
Yeah, can I use the restroom?
Yeah, hold the shut. Officer, take you out. Okay. Ignore that.
What is leave this?
On January 3rd, 2019, Gavin Ramsay went on to receive a life sentence without the possibility of parole for the aggravated murder of Margaret Douglas. Additionally, he was sentenced to 10 years in prison for each of the following charges: aggravated burglary, kidnapping, and abuse of a corpse. For the family of Margaret, they were overjoyed upon receiving the maximum justice that they could receive for their loved one. Or so it seemed. Just 3 years after Gavin's sentence, a bill was introduced to the Ohio Supreme Court that allowed a person tried for any crime under the age of 18 to be eligible for parole after serving 25 to 35 years of their original sentence. Once again, a big thank you to today's sponsor, June's Journey. Make sure to check out their game. Link is down in the description.
The life sentence brought relief, but the Ohio bill reopening parole feels like a slap in the face. Margaret's family deserves peace, not uncertainty. Gavin's journal, idolizing serial killers, proves he's a danger forever. Yet I can't help but wonder, what broke him? His mom's love wasn't enough to stop this. It's a tragedy layered with injustice. Margaret's legacy should be her strength, not this horror. We owe her that memory.